Always make sure you understand who is the one who observes. For there is nothing out there as object of observation that stand independently of that observer. For only because there is an observer, there is something observed. And the way everything is observed becomes of the same nature of that which observed. Therefore, if you abide as consciousness, as the truth that you are, the world also becomes that. Even let's say you go through much pain, physical pain, objective pain, so called. If really you're that honest with yourself, you'll see how your mind struggle with the situation, not wanting the situation to be a certain way, as opposed to how it would want the situation to be. It is not necessary to oppose a resistance to a physical pain. Is it? It is not necessary. As much as you can hold on to a resistance, as much as you can also see the possibility of a total change in your experience. As much as you resist, as much as you can welcome a complete transformation in your experience. From a place of consciousness, there is no limitation. The more you tap into it, the less you doubt. The more you abide in truth, the more you have faith in your understanding that anything can take place. For in consciousness, the potentialities are infinite. There are no limitations in what can take place in your experience. For what takes place, such as excruciating pain on the level of the physical, for instance, is also not divided from the totality. It is made up of the totality, without which no pain. Therefore, there is possibility to transform your experience according to where you stand, according to how you are as the observer of the observed object. So if you want to see a change in your experience, find out who the observer is. Don't be concerned about the observed object. Be concerned about the observer, the subject. And when you become 100% clear about who that observer is, then that clarity takes over. And only then can you see a transformation taking place in your experience. So as much as you can resist a physical pain, as much as you can use this opportunity to dive deeper and deeper into your own self, inviting grace to reveal its power, its blessing. And what are we really looking for in one's life? This is what we are looking for, to embrace the true nature of reality, that is grace. be taken over by grace, and to come to see your existence as a play taking place out of grace. That is the true nature of existence. Existence as seen from the point of view of the mind-body identification is not what existence is. What you see as existence, again, is your own interpretation. No interpreter, no object of interpretation. There remains the play of grace alone, dancing spontaneously, harmoniously, as one. Then you see love in everything. You see that nothing exists without love. Even if in appearance there are antagonisms, but antagonism that you cannot understand from a place of mind body, antagonism that may need to take place for higher purposes. So when dealing with pain, the purpose is to go within, to feed the soul in a way that the soul may reunite with the truth of itself. So there are purposes behind difficulties, purposes that you may not know from a place of mind body, but that your soul may know, that your soul has chosen even prior to this incarnation, in order to work on itself, in order to go beyond itself, closer and closer to the truth of itself. So what the soul knows, the mind-body apparatus does not know. Don't rely on the mind-body apparatus. Rely on your ability to acknowledge the being that you are, first and foremost. And everything is taught. Then from that place, you know that whatever circumstance may be taking place in your life, as miserable or difficult as it may be, serves that very purpose, to reunite with the truth yourself. A good thing to remind ourselves of is that whatever you perceive, whatever you experience outwardly is in truth taking place inwardly. The so-called outward world is merely a mirror to your own self. So however you look at it is however you are with yourself. What happens when you tap into that? You create the world that you want for yourself. You become responsible for yourself, therefore creating the experience of the so-called external world in the way that you wish for yourself. There is no outside world, as strange as it may seem, for you must be there to confirm of the external world first and foremost. Nobody can confirm of your existence before you can confirm for yourself that you are. Everything must be confirmed by you first. So the world as it appears outside only appears inside. Therefore, see it in the light of the truth of yourself, and you will know how to look at the world. You will know how to affect the change in your experience with the outside world. Nothing more difficult than to realize that whatever is perceived as the outside world can only take place inside. Is it difficult? From a place of mind. Here, there is no need of the mind. Other than giving it an inward turn. When you say, for instance, the world is like this or like that, or this person is like this or like that, turn within. Say to yourself, I'm seeing the world like this or like that. I'm seeing this person like this or like that because I choose to focus on certain thoughts within myself. Whatever you focus on within as thoughts or perceptions, that becomes your experience externally. The world takes the shape of that. Instantly. How to change someone that you would like to see this person changing, let's say.
More myself I'd like to see change.
It's just the same thing. However you look outside or inside, it's your own choosing at all times, isn't it? You choose to see anything the way you want at all times. Why? Because the truth of yourself is already free. Within which all choice is possible. For you see here, this is an example of the traps in spirituality. You cannot use argument such as that in order to confirm your inability to change your way of seeing anything. If your true nature is already freedom itself, then you have all the choice you want. In fact, when you truly understand that freedom inside, not only do you come to see that you can choose the way you perceive anything, but you come to see that anything is of the nature of liberation. Therefore, the right choice will take place of its own accord, the right perception of its own accord. In fact, it wouldn't even matter at that point. It would all happen naturally, spontaneously, effortlessly. The world will be revealed as that. You look at the way you perceive anything, how you may hold on to some things you think you know.
Right.
For if you're not clear about that, then saying that all is the totality, there's nothing to do, there's nobody there, it's not going to help you. In fact, it will attract difficulties in your life, only to be confronted to yourself at that level of obstination with what you think you know. Before you directly experience the truth that all is but the whole of it all, you look at how you deal with uh, your thoughts or your perception. So, in that regard, you come to necessarily understand that you can choose any way you perceive things, only to come to the truth that you created it all from a place of mind. So you can't just, use any argument. It must become experientially, directly your reality. Until then, you observe. You observe the observer. And you come to experience directly all your experience is a reflection of that. Otherwise, you'll fall into some holes, for sure. So, in other words, it's not like the mind is the culprit. It is that one is not keeping in touch with awareness. As much as you stay put with awareness, as much as the mind is not a problem. The mind will function accordingly in the light of the being. So here on this earth plane, the tendency is to be led by the mind, therefore creating a world of mind until the soul comes to a place of inquiry, until the soul goes within and understand that he has created its misery by holding on to something that does not exist, such as objects of mind, out of which it has tried desperately to consolidate a sense of self that never came into existence and will never come into existence. Hence, antagonism. So this is what takes place on this earth plane. The ego existence that needs to be experienced and understood in the light of the truth of oneself. Then when that takes place fully, perfectly, then there is no need to ever experience the sense of ego existence ever again. And yet, even in the light of being, the more you can sink into being, see that all there is to life is being alone, then there is total transcendence of it all. Then even the world disappears. There remains self alone. You cannot see the self. Only the self sees you. Only the self knows. Any knowing that you may be able to have about anything comes from the self. So the self is the world. The self is the heart of the world. So yes, you come to um, be more light about what it is you perceive. You give it a chance to reveal something else than what you have perceived at first. And sure enough, you will quickly realize that the world is not as you perceive. The world and your own sense of self is not as you have perceived. That there is something greater at the heart of your perception.
You know, when you speak, I know what you're saying is not experienced yet or something, you know, like I
But,
think I do.
but you're saying that because you know something is aware of you being in that place, right? Who are you? What comes and goes, and what remains? Awareness alone remains. Therefore, you must be awareness alone. Therefore, discard everything you are not in the light of that awareness, and there will be no doubt. You are that. There is only that. This is your truth, the truth of yourself alone. No matter what takes place on the level of mind, forget the mind. You are not the mind. You are the awareness of the mind. The mind will come and go with all its stories. Awareness will remain. Can be sure of that. So if you stay in awareness, acknowledging that this is what does not come nor go, then where is the difficulty? Is there a difficulty in awareness?
No, at this moment, no.
Then stay with the moment. Next moment is gonna be this moment. There's no many moments. There's only this moment. This moment you can find out factually, directly, experientially, that all there is in truth that never comes nor goes is awareness. Maybe your mind is saying it can't be that simple. As simple as it can be. Then your mind says it's difficult to be aware. Of course it's going to be difficult. Watch the mind.
Hmm?
You watch the mind then. Just watch the mind. Don't superimpose any mind over other minds. You will see no mind. But sure enough, this is a process following which you become more and more acquainted to your true self. For you, your mind is conditioned to act through patterns, through latent tendencies, through beliefs, opinions, ideas, memories. And the more you stay put in the truth of awareness, the more everything will be chaotic for you for a while. Only to show you that none of it all never served you. Then there comes a time that all you can do is renounce, surrender.
Did you say renounce?
And then, next thing you know, the mind is no longer bothering you. For you know as certain that you are awareness alone. That you cannot be but awareness alone, first and foremost. And that the world is also of the same nature as awareness. But don't think about that. Forget everything said tonight. There's no teaching.
Much better than what my mind says all day.
Just acknowledge what is what, moment by moment. Whether you're in the mind or aware of the mind. Whether you're in the mind or that the mind is seen by something in you that remains there. For you must be there first, in order for any mind to take place. Stay there. Nothing more to it. You stay there, you see. You know that mind is mind. Awareness is awareness. In that clarity of perception, everything settled of its own accord. Nothing more to do. Nothing more or less than what truly is taking place in your experience. It's just a matter of perspective. For the whole of consciousness is always immanent in your experience. The truth of it is that even when you know that you may not be aware or that the mind may have taken control over your attention, who knows that? It is yourself. So be yourself. Abide as yourself, moment by moment. Nothing more simple than that. But yes, it's not always easy. So it's less a question of wanting to do anything with the mind, like to see the mind coming to a place of silence, because this is the mind perpetuating its illusion of existing, as it were, independently from the truth that one is awareness. If all there is in your experience that does not come nor go is awareness itself, then what is left to do? Just remain aware of whatever takes place, whatever it is. Just be aware of it. And that awareness will supersede, will inject its high frequency, transforming the mind vibrational field as of your experience of yourself, as of your experience with your surrounding. Naturally, any doubt that it can be that easy?
Nope.
Then the mind comes in and says, yes, but all these past struggles, that's just a thought. No need to rely on the thought of the past. No thought of the past, no past. No thought of the future, no future. Only this moment. So until the being takes over, you can always ask yourself whether you need to have the thought of what has been or of what can happen or what not. And you will kind of redirect your attention with it. Ask yourself, what is the past without the thought of the past? For the moment you let that one thought direct your attention towards the so-called past, then you're caught in the past, bound by the past. So in terms of choices, yes, you have the choice to let go of that one thought and experience, confirm for yourself that you are already freedom. So until this conviction settles, then you turn your attention within, question your perception, and see that sure enough you have the freedom to choose one perception or another in order to realize that you are already freedom itself. Therefore, free will has fulfilled its purpose. For this is the very purpose of free will. So you may move around out of a place of so-called choice only to be forced indirectly back into yourself, become one with the freedom that you are. Then yes, you also realize that there's never been any choice, for all there is liberation alone. So as long as you believe to be this separate sense of self, as much as there is such a thing as free will, therefore you use free will in order to see where you are at exactly in the moment in terms of what a perception you choose, creating that way your experience inwardly, outwardly, slowly making your way back to the source. Then free will has served its purpose. The thing is, as long as you believe to be separated from the truth of life, free will is inevitable. You come to believe that you should choose in order to be yourself, as if there was such a thing. You can only choose to not be yourself, or choose to possibly ask yourself whether you are that which you believe to be. That's as far as free will can go. Until it is clearly revealed that you can only already be yourself. that there is only the self, out of which everything is happening spontaneously, of its own accord, as it has always been, as it is, as it will always be. Well, thank you, everyone. We'll be here. If you weren't here, there'll be no sad song.